welcome to Entertainment Talk with Claypool. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Entertainment Talk, where we bring in guests from the television, film, and music industries from all different genres, and our guests are here to basically entertain you and give you insight into their lives, into their world, so that you, our listeners and our viewers, can learn more about them. So today, I have a really special guest, and it's Linda Wilson. Linda Wilson is the founder, the president of the Texas Country Music Association. She is probably one of the hardest working women that I know, because it takes so much to run an organization like this. So, Linda, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be on. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, definitely appreciate you being here. Before we get into, the world of the Texas Country Music Association, this is not your first rodeo, so to speak. You've been in this industry for a few decades. 20, 30 years, I believe. And so maybe for our viewers and our listeners, how did you get into this world of music and into this role that you, because you're the founder, you created it. So you had to have had some exposure, experience, education, some type of a background to give you that knowledge and skill set to be so successful at this. So tell us a little bit about your background. How'd you get into this world?
Well, it's kind of a long story, and I'll try to make it a little short. But back in the late 80s, I met a gentleman named Bubba Cox. And Bubba Cox is very well known in the Central Texas area. He owned a club called Cotton Country Club. But before he did that, he was a friend of my ex-husband's, and we got to know him really well and just started following him around, and then started booking him and working with him. And we started a booking agency for artists mainly in the Houston area, just booking them around the Houston area. And then we started booking for some venues. One of the biggest ones we did was Ten Hall in Cypress. I don't believe it's there anymore. And then we had an office, and in walked one day, Doug Supernaw walked into our office. Just walked in and said, "Hey, I need a manager, and I need somebody to book me and take care of all my stuff." Artists, they want to write music and go play, Right. The smart ones get a team behind them. So we started working with Doug Supernaw and actually did everything for Doug Supernaw, from booking and management, PR. We did his fan club and all of that. And that just kind of led into other things. But we worked with Doug up until after he got his first record deal with B&A. And
Is this the company Bullseye Entertainment that you had started?
Yes.
Okay.
I was in the late 80s, and of course we booked the Tim McGraw into Texas at Ten Hall. We did some dates with Mark Chestnut, Rick Trevino, John Connolly. Back when Texas country wasn't really considered its own thing, it was the guys that had Nashville deals, like George Strait and Willie and Mark Chestnut, Doug, and Tracy Bird, Tracy Lawrence, all those guys were Texas country back then. And then that just progressively, I always had the idea of wanting to do an organization, and we actually put out a magazine in print format back then called Texas Country Music Magazine. And really that was that was the first
Texas Country Music Magazine and Today's Country. You had two different ones, correct?
Right. The Today's Country was more of a local Houston metropolitan area magazine. We cross-promoted with Kick Radio. And then Texas Country Music Magazine was more of a national magazine. But that's kind of when the whole, when I recall that the whole Texas country thing started, because we really just started, not that I'm taking credit for it or anything, but we really started focusing on country artists that are from Texas and what they're doing. And so that just led me into, always rolling it around in my head, the want to do an organization to pull all of our Texas artists together and build up that industry. And now you got to remember, back then we didn't have internet. We didn't have Facebook. We
Oh yeah.
didn't have social media. It was all just the record labels would send you their packets. The artists would send you their packets. It was all,
Well,
and when we did
that's
our magazine, it was actually a storyboard that we printed out and took a shot of, and then they
That's kind of
printed
where
it.
you get your roots at for being such a hardworking woman because, back then, like you said, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media, we didn't have the power that we have today at our fingertips like that. So you had to, do a lot of legwork and do a lot of phone calling and basically probably even had to put a few miles on the road to make things happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We did a lot of radio tours and would take some of the artists along with us, and so I always had the idea of wanting to do the organization. Now, a couple of different people tried to do it and failed, and then I just kept kind of praying over it and thinking about it, how I wanted it to look, and then finally, in about 2008, I actually started putting my hands back on it and putting it together. And then we officially incorporated originally as a nonprofit in 2011.
Okay.
Um,
So Texas Country Music Association really originated 2008. That's you've been in operation since then, correct?
I like to say conceptually in the 90s, and then officially in 2011 when we actually incorporated. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Now, I dropped the nonprofit designation in 2018 for several reasons. Um, because when you start having an award show and you get sponsors and things like that,
Right,
the full benefit of writing off their taxes. And also, when you're dealing with the government, and I love my country and I love my state, but I really just don't want them to tell me how to run my organization. If I want to
right.
give somebody money to record a single, I want to be able to write that check without answering to somebody.
So the you have a nonprofit. Correct me if I'm wrong. So the charity that you're referring to is Texas Country Cares by chance?
That was set up under the original nonprofit. We just
Okay,
rolled that over into our for profit as a benevolence fund. I'm not scared of paying taxes.
right.
I'm not worried about paying taxes or trying to get out of paying taxes. So we opted to go for a corporation, and for another reason because I'm 65 years old and I'm not going to be around forever. And I want Texas Country Music Association to be around forever. So we reorganized it in a fashion that we can actually start selling shares and getting investors and other people on board that can help carry this forward with my family to keep it going and keep it fruitful like it has been over the last.
Well, that's great business strategy, and for one thing, you look a lot younger than what you're sharing your age is. So,
Pickup does.
and another thing, you have many years ahead of you. Several decades. So I think this organization will do nothing but grow and expand. So tell us a little bit more about the Texas Country Music Association as far as what do you do throughout the year? Because you lead up each year to the main event, which is the awards show. So how does selection process? How does the different genres, categories? You have panels for different selections. I mean, just how does it all operate? Because it seems, because most people are familiar with, some of the country music awards that they see on television, which is, national or global. So how does all this, come together?
Well, Texas Country Music Association first and foremost is a faith-based organization. We're a
Okay.
Christian organization, and we operate that way. Our big thing is we're here to help support the artists, the musicians, the songwriters, and everybody else that touches the industry. the podcasts, the media, the radio stations, the venues, anybody that touches the industry, we try to put programs and things together for them to benefit from being in the industry and supporting it. The radio stations for playing the music, the live music venues for bringing in the artists, the recording studios and the producers who just do such a great job. And, I am 100% behind Nashville. Good friends with people in Nashville, but
Right.
we are Texas country, and it has an identity of its own now, starting in the early 2000s, and so we felt like it was such a great thing to be able to put together an organization that would support and be
Right.
behind, what the artists are doing. And we are membership driven, but we do things, put together programs that help facilitate promoting the artists, like the Texas Country Music Chart, and which is
Right.
the only Texas, the only digitally monitored airplay chart in Texas. There's CDX, Traction TX, which we're very good friends with. They're located in Nashville. Joe Kelly's a great friend of mine, and we work together very closely. So we keep our ties with Nashville because I don't care what anybody says. If somebody gets a record deal offer from a major label, they're gone. They may live
Right.
in Texas, but they're going national, and I don't blame them. And that's the
But
epitome of it.
they also
But
never will forget their upbringing or their roots in Texas, because that's why a lot of country music has Texas mentioned in songs.
right, and so I mean, there's tons of them. But for all those ones that may never make it, they still need the
Hmm.
support from them. There is
Absolutely.
such there is such great music and great artists in our state, great recording studios. Uh, Everything about it is just fabulous. Everybody does it with very high level of passion, and I feel like it's our job to help them get that out there, so that more people will know about their music, and so that they'll gain fans that will go to their shows and stream their music and buy their merchandise. And
Correct.
so that's really what TCMA is all about.
So um, is there other country music associations related to other states? Does each state have a country music association by chance, or
Yeah,
is
some
Texas,
of
because Texas is definitely big on the country music scene. So I didn't know if that's the only state that has an association such as this one here.
no, there aren't as many as I'd like to see, and am in communication with several of the other ones. Arkansas has one.
Oh,
Um,
good.
I believe there's one in Alabama that may be starting up. There are several, and I've had people call me, from other states saying, "Hey, we'd like to do one in our state. How are you doing it?" So I give them the formula, and I just say, "Look, whatever we can do to help you." We did just launch at the first of this year the American Country Music Association, and that is twofold. It's to be able to take our philosophy and our mold of TCMA out into the country, and take our artists from Texas more exposure out into the country, but also give the artists who are not in Texas or don't travel and play a lot in Texas, the opportunity to get the same benefits that we give them with TCMA. And so far it's worked out wonderfully. It's going to take time to build it,
Right.
but it's going great so far.
So since you had, I mean, you got great, experience, great skill set. I mean, Bullseye Entertainment and incorporating it with Texas Country Music Association is. So do you actually, work as an agent of such for some of the artists to help basically book them in other cities, other locations, other
No,
honky tonks, wherever?
no, we do. TCMA does not have a booking agency or a radio promotion side. We don't have a radio promotion side because we feel like it is a conflict of interest to have a chart
Okay.
and a radio promotion side. Um, we have so many members that do that, though, that do booking and do radio promotion. So it's our job to help them, you know, refer them to people who are asking or wanting information on people that do that. And I do that nearly every day, almost every day. I talk to somebody that needs something, and I've got somebody to send them to, you know?
Well, I would think
So
that
we,
you have some several connections, I would think, over the years, and you would be a great source, and your association would be a great source for anybody that's up and coming or has an interest in the country music scene and gaining more exposure, gaining more recognition. So definitely recommend Linda Wilson and her association and getting connected, because it's a great networking field, I would say, or a great networking group. So tell us more about the the awards program, the awards show. It's coming up in October, I believe.
it is no November the 12th at Billy Bob's,
November.
and this will be our 5th year at Billy Bob's, 7th
Okay,
year
I'm
for.
sorry for interrupting, but Billy Bob's, for those that are viewing and watching, not everybody knows where Billy Bob's is or what it is. So maybe you could share a little bit about Billy Bob's.
Billy Bob's Texas is the world's largest honky tonk, and it
There you
is in
go.
the Fort Worth Stockyards. And I do have to also give a lot of credit to the Fort Worth Stockyards and Stockyards Heritage. They're our really big sponsor. They help us put on the entire Texas Country Music Weekend every year. It's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This year it'll be November 10th, 11th, and 12th. We've got free concerts in the Stockyards, free um, Christian concert with on Sunday morning before the awards show. We've got a free
Oh,
concert
awesome.
this year with Ken Foe on Friday night and Kate Watson on Saturday. We have the Texas Country Music Showdown, which is like almost like a battle of the bands, you know. So
Well,
eight
that'd be
bands,
interesting to watch.
you know, it can compete for prize money that the Stockyards actually offers, and the winner is announced at the awards show. And then, of course, the award show itself is an all-day thing. The doors open at 2 o'clock at Billy Bob's, and it's on from there. And I must say that the vibe that I get from everybody about the award show and being at Billy Bob's is the atmosphere is just like a big family reunion. I mean, you have people coming in that they're not up for awards. They're not finalists. They just want to be there, network with each other. It's just everybody being able to see each other that don't normally, because they're all on the road at different times, different places, and they get to see each other and talk about where they're playing. Maybe somebody from South Texas, you know, wants to get into North Texas. You hear artists sharing information about
Right.
venues and activities and festivals, and it's just amazing.
It's never too early to get toasted at the Toasted Yolk Cafe, located at 14105 Ronald Reagan Boulevard in Cedar Park, Texas. Come and be a part of our Toasted Tuesdays, where our morning shots are 50% off all day long. Try the Toasted Yolk Shot. Comes with Jameson whiskey, butterscotch schnapps, and maple syrup. Served with an OJ chaser and, yes, candied bacon. Or why not try the cold brew? House brewed Jiva cold brew coffee mixed with premium vodka, vanilla infused syrup, and topped with a swirl of whipped cream. And last but not least, the famous beach side. Let this cool you down with Malibu rum, pineapple juice, and coconut cream, served as a shot with a candied bacon chaser. Come and be a part of Toasted Tuesdays at the Toasted Yolk Cafe in Cedar Park, Texas. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a great networking opportunity. Being connected with Texas Country Music Association. So I would encourage viewers and listeners to go online and look up Texas Country Music Association. There's a lot of information online, a lot of ways you can get connected, a lot of ways you can attend events or be a sponsor of the association. And there's something about when a large group of people come together with a like-minded event. There's just a level of energy there. And I just recently got connected with Linda, And every time that I hear about your association, Linda, there's just a lot of excitement and energy behind it. So personally, I'm looking forward to being there and participating in the event this year.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. And I can tell you what, you're going to walk away from this and you're going to call me the next day and say, this is nothing like I expected.
Right.
It is so much more, it's not like the big award show you see on TV. It's Texas style. It's family reunion, and it's just so much fun. It's very relaxed, and we make mistakes and goof ups on stage and record all of that. And, we
Oh, that's
will
good.
air that. Bob Malden, who does Expedition Texas, a TV show, is actually doing our filming this year. We will air that on Texas Country Network, which is our online network where we also have Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV channels. So everybody in the world will be able to watch it. And so we've got a lot going on, and the award show day is just crazy, busy, and fun. And I do have to give a lot of credit to my husband Richard, who is
Yeah.
very supportive and does everything. You don't hear from him a lot. He's kind of quiet and soft spoken until you get to know him, but he does so much. And then of course Monty Dawson, who's our vice president, my son Chris Young, who's a vice president, my daughter Courtney Ritter, who is a vice president, and my son Cody Bowley, who's a vice president. Yeah, it's a family organization, and I'm not ashamed to say that, because these are the people that's going to take this thing forward.
Oh, absolutely.
Whenever I
And if you
can.
don't have it, if you don't have the family supporting you, it would be more of a grind than a pleasure. So, uh, definitely always a blessing having family support and family backing, behind it. So, um, um, I had a question on my mind. I just went blank. Um, so tell us, you know, a few of the names that may have in the past or currently or coming up, that some of the names in country music that some of our listeners may be familiar with. That I think Kenny Chesnut is your spokesman for the association, and I think there's some other
Mhm.
um, um, fairly big names or upcoming people in the country music scene that are going to be at your award show and that participate with the association.
Actually, Mark Chestnut was our very first spokesperson,
Okay.
and he was for a year, and then he put out a new album, started touring, so he really didn't have time to put into it. In 2017, our spokesperson became Brandon Ryder, who is actually from my hometown of Carthage, Texas. Been in the industry for a very long time. Was started out in the real change to being Texas country movement. Brandon is
Yeah.
still our spokesperson, and he has hosted the award show every single year. So Brandon's really involved. We've got Malone Ranger, who is a on-air broadcast personality with 95.9 The Ranch in Fort Worth,
Okay.
who actually hosts with him, and they're a dream team. They are just absolutely fabulous.
I think I
Uh,
said Kenny Chesnut, or Chesnut, but apologize for the name error there. So where does Texas Country Music Association want to be in the next 5 years, 10 years? What do you want to see it develop and grow into, and what is your future goals for it? Because it continues to grow each and every year. It's a larger show. It's a larger production. There's a larger number of participants. So it's getting well known throughout the nation. So where do you want to see this go?
wow. Um, I am such a person that just kind of all of a sudden gets an idea to do something and I try to look at things from the artist and the industry, side of things, that shows me what we can implement that's going to help them. Um, I'd like to see it getting on national television. Now I can say that
That'd be great.
we have been our award show has been on the Cowboy Channel before. Um, so that was kind of national, but I feel like the platform that we're using now is going to enable people to watch it from anywhere and everywhere. we have TCMA members from all over the world. Believe it or not, a guy just came in last weekend. His name is Rue Arcus, and he is from Australia. And he
Oh,
came
wow.
in, yeah, and he's fabulous. And he loves the Texas country scene. He said it's a little bit different in Australia, but that's just an example. You know, we've got
Yeah.
media and everything else from all over the world. Most of our members are from Texas or from the contiguous states that play in Texas mostly. You know, but
Right.
we've got members from all over the United States and all over the world. And I
Well, that's
mean,
great.
people are just historically fascinated with Texas anyway. You know,
Correct.
the cowboy hats, the rodeos,
Yep.
the stockyards. The
Everybody's
cowboys.
moving to Texas.
How about them cowboys? Um, and and so that's what we try to just do what we can for everybody. I'm excited. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know. It's going to go wherever God wants to take it. Is what it
There you
is.
go. Well, definitely doors are being opened and opportunities are being presented, with your leadership. And so definitely hats off to you for your success in creating and being the founder of this association. And again, look forward to being a part of it. So for what word of advice or encouragement or words of direction could you give those that maybe are just getting into the country music scene here in Texas, and Texas is a huge state. Just some encouragement, direction on how they can basically get more involved or become more noticeable or get more exposure, or they could be a part of your association.
Well, yeah, like I said, TCMA is membership driven, so we wouldn't be able to do anything that we do without our members and our sponsors. And we spend a lot of money. It's not like we operate as a nonprofit, but we're not a nonprofit, if that makes sense.
Sure.
We try to put everything back into doing more, and um, I want everybody to know that we are here to help them do whatever it is they need to do. I mean, I talk to people all the time asking for advice. A new artist saying, "Hey, I just cut a single. How do I get the radio stations to play it?" So we give them the formula, and I would
Well,
tell
that's great.
artists coming up or that don't know something, just ask, call me, ask. If I know, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll find out. Me or one of our staff that can answer questions, and that's what we try to do is give information, good information, for them
Absolutely.
to follow. And then of course I usually give two pieces of advice, three pieces of advice to artists or anybody that calls me. Because you got some calling and they've got an issue or a problem, or maybe a problem with somebody else. There's a
Right.
For the most part, our industry, everybody gets along and supports each other. But if they don't, my advice is don't retaliate, eliminate. And if you hear me say that once, you'll hear me say it 1,000 times. And the other thing is, for an artist, don't ever hire anybody uh, or let them volunteer on your behalf that makes you look like a jerk. And if that makes sense, because that's happened. And the other thing is
Okay. Great
read your
words of
Bible,
advice.
pray over what you're doing, and walk in faith, and just go for it. And
I
if you
like
need
your words.
help, ask for it. You know.
Well, those are great three things for advice to anybody that's in this industry. And, Linda, again, can't say how much I appreciate you being on this show. And hopefully that maybe during this year's award show, we may record a segment for Entertainment Talk and maybe have you on our show after the event to talk a little bit about how the show went. But anyway, as we wrap up here, I just want to close with what I always close with the saying that it's great it is to dream the dream when you stand in youth by the starry stream, but greater it is to fight life through and say at the end, the dream is true. Keep fighting for your dreams, folks. We'll see you on the next episode.